Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope that everyone is staying safe and sound in this pandemic, and I hope that everyone is ready to learn something new today. But first, if you like what you see, give me a big thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Hit that bell notification so you know my videos come out, and please subscribe. I thank all of you that subscribed before because it shows that you appreciate what I'm doing. And for those who are thinking about subscribing in the future, I have a promo that I will give $100 to a random subscriber who comments, so I know you're not a bot, when I reach 1,000 subscribers. So help me and help yourself at the same time. Okay, so as you can see, I'm wearing a green shirt because today's St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing my Lucky to Be a Mets fan green shirt. So let's do a St. Patrick's Day video. 7 surprising facts about St. Patrick. Who was the real St. Patrick? Was that legend about the snakes true? And why did so many St. Patrick's Day traditions start in America? Okay. While St. Patrick's Day is now associated with wearing green, parades, when they're not canceled, and beer, the holiday is grounded in history that dates back more than 1,500 years. The earliest known celebrations were held in the 17th century on March 17th, marking the anniversary of the death of St. Patrick in the 5th century. Learn more about the holiday's history and how it evolved into the event it is today. Okay. The real St. Patrick was born in Britain. This I knew. Okay. This is a picture of him. Much of what is known about St. Patrick's life has been interwoven with folklore and legend. Historians generally believe that St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, was born in Britain, not Ireland, near the end of the 4th century. At age 16, he was kidnapped by Irish raiders and sold as a slave to a Celtic priest in Northern Ireland. After toiling for 6 years as a shepherd, he escaped back to Britain. He eventually returned to Ireland as a Christian missionary. I don't know if everything is true, but I did hear that he was a Christian missionary in Ireland. He was the one that converted the Irish people to Catholicism. There were no snakes around in St. Patrick for St. Patrick to banish from Ireland. Okay. Okay. Among the legends associated with St. Patrick is that he stood atop an Irish hillside and banished snakes from Ireland, prompting all serpents to slither away into the sea. In fact, researchers suggest snakes never occupied the Emerald Isle in the first place. There were no signs of snakes in the country, as fossil records. And water has surrounded Ireland since the last glacial period. Before that, the region was covered in ice and would have been too cold for the reptiles. So snakes have never been in Ireland. Okay. Leprechauns are likely based on Celtic fairies. By the way, I told everyone my mother's a leprechaun because she's small and she's from Ireland. The red-haired, green-clothed leprechaun is commonly associated with St. Patrick's Day. The original Irish name for these figures of folklore is Lobersin, means small-bodied fellow. Belief in leprechauns likely stems from Celtic belief in fairies, tiny men and women who could use their magical powers to serve good or evil. In Celtic folk tales, leprechauns were cranky souls responsible for mending the shoes of the other fairies. My mother can be cranky, but she has never mended my shoes, so I don't know if that's true. Okay. The shamrock was considered a sacred plant. This one I know. Okay. The shamrock, a 3-leaf clover, has been associated with Ireland for centuries. It was called the shamrock by the Celt and was considered a sacred plant that symbolized the arrival of spring. According to legend, St. Patrick used the plant as a visual guide when explaining the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. By the 17th century, the shamrock had become a symbol of emerging Irish nationalism. Okay, next one. The first St. Patrick's Day parade was held in America, not in Ireland. Here you can see a picture of a parade many, many years ago. While people in Ireland had celebrated St. Patrick since the 1600s, the tradition of a St. Patrick's Day parade began in America and actually predates the founding of the United States. Records show that St. Patrick's Day Parade was held on March 17, 1601, in a Spanish colony in what is now St. Augustine, Florida. This parade and a St. Patrick's Day celebration a year earlier were organized by the Spanish colony's Irish vicar, which is a priest, Ricardo Artur. More than a century later, homesick Irish soldiers serving in the English military marched in Boston in 1737 and in New York City on March 17th. Enthusiasm for St. Patrick's Day parades in New York City, Boston, and other early American cities only grew from there. In 20 and 21, which is now, parades throughout the country, including in New York City and Boston, were canceled or postponed for the first time in decades due to the outbreak of the coronavirus. So, yes, it was canceled last year and this year, but there are some local parades, like here in Long Island. They had like a small one. Okay. The Irish were once scorned in America. This I know for a fact because my mother is Irish, as I said, she's a leprechaun, and my father's Italian, and my father was actually scorned for marrying an Irish woman. You know, back then it was a no-no. Okay. While Irish Americans are now proud to showcase their heritage, the Irish were not always celebrated by fellow Americans. Beginning in 1845, a devastating potato blight caused widespread hunger throughout Ireland. While approximately 1 million perished, another 2 million abandoned their land in the largest single population movement of the 19th century. Most of the exiles, nearly a quarter of the Irish nation, came to the shores of the United States. Once they arrived, the Irish refugees were looked down upon as disease-ridden, unskilled, and a drain on welfare budgets. This I knew. Corned beef and cabbage was an American innovation. So some things were American, not typically Irish. Okay. The meal that became a St. Patrick's Day staple across the country, corned beef and cabbage, was an American innovation. Okay. While ham and cabbage were eaten in Ireland, corned beef offered a cheap substitute for impoverished immigrants. Irish Americans living in the slums of Lower Manhattan in the late 19th century and early 20th century purchased leftover corned beef from ships returning from the tea trade in China. The Irish would boil the beef 3 times, the last time with cabbage to remove some of the brine. My mother makes corned beef and cabbage every year. Of course, I don't like corned beef, so I don't eat it, but she does that every year. I have to let her know that it's not original. Actually, the original dish that people used to make for St. Patrick's Day was Irish stew. Irish stew consisted of potatoes, onions, carrots, and beef. I did a lesson before, last week I think, on Irish stew. I will put that link in the description below so you can see the recipe in case you feel like cooking Irish stew for St. Patrick's Day. And that's about it for today's lesson. So, again, if you like what you see, give me a big thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Hit that bell notification so you know my videos come out. And please subscribe. Okay? By subscribing to my channel, you're helping me and you're helping yourself. Because like I said, I will be giving $100 to a random subscriber who comments, okay, $100. And speaking of comments, I appreciate all the comments that I have been getting from many people. Most of the time, I'm able to respond back to the comments, but sometimes I can't view the comments. I don't know why. But keep commenting, whether it's good or bad. You know, we all human, so sometimes we make mistakes. So I don't mind people commenting. When people comment, then I know that they're watching my video, and either way, it makes me happy. Tomorrow, I will be doing a home remedies video, so I will see you tomorrow. Stay safe, and have a safe St. Patrick's Day.